You have 5 Democrats that's on council. You had 5 Democrats that was on council before. You still got 5 Democrats that's on council now, 2 Republicans. 5 Democrats, 2 Republicans, and I have no idea what Sam Azad is. But being that we have 5 Democrats, then that would mean that the city council is left of center. They're left of center. They have potential, but that's also their problem because Democrats are Hillary Clinton Democrats because they're pro-border, pro-war on drugs, pro-Goldman Sachs, 1% pro-war, pro-military, pro-hawk, because they're conservative, they're corporatist. So Ed Brown is going to consolidate corporatism. He is a neoliberal corporatist and put that on all of them. Put them on Aguilera, Atencio, Nickel, and Flores. They are left of center. They are neoliberal corporatists. And so that means they're going to consolidate all the bad. I'd be denied this one thing, warriors of the Shawnees. When has the hand of Catapacoman been clean? When that of his Indian brother has bathed in blood? Has Catapacoman ever spared the white? What can we expect with this Democratic Council, with this big D Democrat, with 0 progressives? There are no progressives on city council, not a single progressive. In fact, I was looking at that homeless shelter article, and it's Bob Schilling is the one that they quoted. Bob Schilling is the progressive. Bob Schilling is the one pushing for a homeless shelter. Pueblo has no homeless shelter. People are going to freeze to death, and this is supposed to be a good Christian progressive town. So don't expect anything to change when it comes to homelessness. We're not going to get any contour crafting. We're not going to get a homeless shelter. None of the communities want a homeless shelter. We should share homeless shelter. Homeless shelters in every single neighborhood. We should have a better percentage when it comes to turnout. We need to have an actual democracy. What, 34%? 34% is not a majority, Pueblo. That last election was democratically illegitimate. The majority of the people said, fuck your government. The Democratic Council will do nothing. The Democratic Council of Pueblo will do jack shit when it comes to police brutality. They're not even a check for police brutality. They've never had an investigation. They've never had subpoenas ever for any of the police officers when the police works for the city. Sam Azad specifically, but city council has control over the budget. 20 to 34% turnout rate, poverty, 1 out of every 4 of our children are poor. 1 out of 4 kids are poor. And in 2020, 1 out of 4 kids will still be poor. In 2020, we'll still have homelessness. In 2020, there's still the war on drugs will still be raging on. None of these candidates will offer any kind of platform because they didn't have to. They didn't need to. And poverty will still be, homelessness, police brutality, war on drugs. All this will still be here. All the major structural problems that the city of Pueblo has. Wrong, a lot of these gentlemen are super duper nice people, but they have to have the will to do it themselves. What if the entire people, put all the pressure on them? Maybe they'll do good. Maybe they'll do right. So Ed Brown's super duper nice guy. He's a very nice guy. He's very approachable. He was in favor of the street repair tax. They're already fixing the streets right now, Santa Fe Avenue. Ray Aguilera and Earl Wilkinson got that victory with the pro-street repair tax. Also, the Pueblo for Green, Citizens for a Greener Pueblo. That was us. We wanted the street repair tax too. Ed Brown is accessible. His phone number is posted on the city website. He might be a Democrat. He is a Democrat. He's got liberal drug policies. But see, he doesn't have the will. He's a super nice guy. That's the problem, is that he's not letting his heart dictate the drug policy of man's scalp. Has he not brought to Wapatomica 8 prisoners? Do not 7 fresh scalps hang at his belt? Now the white brother of Catapacoman. Head John Oliver had a big special about these economic development boards. This came about during the 80s, during the Ronald Reagan era. It's all about the money. It's all about the, it's corporatist. It's a corporatist. Big fucking corporations. We give the Express Scripts $8 million. $8 million. Here you go, Express Scripts. They give us a couple jobs for about a decade, and they took all of our $8 million worth of phones and whatever else we gave them, phones and internet and computers, and took that shit home or sold it to the next company. We could have established that ourselves. We're talking about the solar power thing. We could establish our $17 million with 17. How hard can it be to make solar power to anything? Solar power is just what, a little bit of silicone and a little bit of engineering. So that would be better if they would have taken that $17 million and went ahead and seeded some entrepreneurs, some of the local folks. That's what that $17.5 million should be done with. But we're going to give it to a company out of India or China or the city of Pueblo. We got a population of 107,000 people. So that's barely a drop in the bucket compared to a lot of major cities. We have an operating budget of $140 million, but it's $80 million, so total budget of $80 million. So $80 million bucks to take $10 million out of $80 million. That's all. That's everything. That's your buses. That's your costs. That's your local fire department. To take any of that money to get to Express Scripts is insanity. It's ridiculous. It's bullshit. It's straight up bullshit. Because what would it have taken to actually invest in ourselves and to get our own company? We need India to organize our resources and our people for us. We can't organize. We can't get all these smart, intelligent people and all these resources together to make a service or a product for other people. Of course we do. And what's the chances that they're going to stand up to Petco or shut Petco down? Petco is corporatism. It is corporations and it's government. Think about this for a second. So we want Amazon here. We want Tesla. I think a Tesla would be fucking badass. So how do we get Tesla to come into Pueblo? Well, we're not going to be able to outcompete Denver or, Chicago. No, we're not going to be able to give any more money. So we cannot give an incentive package that beats any. So I say give them zero. Give any new company who wants to come to Pueblo $0 fucking dollars. So now what is going to encourage them to come here? Well, let's take a look at Denmark. Denmark wants a lot of highly educated people. We got a lot of highly educated people. So we need to say, look, you want a good, smart company? Tesla. You want a bunch of engineers? Tesla. We got a fucking college. We got lots of smart people here. Come here. Come to the city of Pueblo. So Tesla, you want to come here? We got lots of intelligent people. And also, Tesla, you'll love it here. It's awesome. We got the Riverwalk and these restaurants and people are nice and blah, blah, blah. We got all these solar trees. We're not going to get any solar trees out of this Democratic City Council. We will get zero. Omen has fallen into the hands of his Indian brothers, and they wish to torture him. Shall Katapakomen stand by and see his brother eaten by the flames? To those who are born warriors. Personally, that's how he has to do it, but I think it's a better deal anyways. Come to Pueblo because Pueblo is fucking awesome. It's great to live. You'll love it here, and there's lots of educated people. That's how Denmark does it. It's a high standard of living. So they have to live there. Lots of green spots. These rich people are going to need fucking, big mansions and big fucking places. So there's land out there. There's plenty of space. Lots of space. Lots of undeveloped desert land, arid desert land just out here. So come to Pueblo. Come to Pueblo because we got lots of smart people that can work in your companies. Lots of space for, you and your fucking mansions and shit. But also there's the Riverwalk and there's a lot of good things that's going here. Solar trees would be a better incentive than any kind of economic package. So we give $10 million up, we'll offer $10 million to Tesla. Okay, well, everybody else has offered $100 million, our $10 million ain't shit. But if we said zero, we're like, okay, what's this about? But then we said, check us out, we got solar trees, we got it going on. Things that Pueblo has is a ton of sunlight, lots of sunlight. It's got a lot of radon too, so it's got some problems, but it's also got, what can we do to encourage people to come here? We have solar trees. Look at these solar trees. We're progressive and we're forward thinking. And so, this is going to be, do you want a piece of this pie? Do you want a piece of this Garden of Eden, this little secret, this little secret country charmed little city, tiny city, big, small town? This is wonderful. This is nice little town, nice little city. So that's how we would get corporations to come in. But you know what? I'm not going to wait for Superman. I'm not going to wait for some big multinational corporation to come in here and then say, okay, here's a bunch of jobs. And like, oh, thank God. Let's assume that solar power company comes here. We give them fucking $17 million. They just put that shit in their pocket, right? Maybe they put it into capital. Maybe they paid some of the labor out of that cost. Doubt it. But let's say they come here. We get 200 brand new jobs. Oh, 200 brand new jobs. That's a nice little, golden ticket, a little Charlie in the Charlotte factory golden ticket for 200 people. And will they turn around and help the community out? Oh, you got a good job. You got a good business. You're going to come around and help the community out? Or are you just going to be like, these marijuana businesses that they got the golden ticket, but they're not really giving back to the community whatsoever? They want all the money, and they want more money and more power, more money and more power, just nonstop, right? So the 200, I remember in Kentucky, the coal miners, they got a good job. They got paid well, but they never gave back to the community. They took the fucking money and they give a big middle finger to everybody else. So to those 200 people that might get a job from the solar company from India, Is it worth $17 million? Is it worth giving them all that fucking money so they could take all that capital when they want to bail on us in 10 years? No solar trees, right? We didn't beautify this place. We didn't mirrors of the Shawnees. The life of a white prisoner is given for the asking. Will my brothers deny so little a thing to the brother born among the white men who has chosen to live among the Indians? No voice but his own broke the stillness when he finished the deep. Trees aren't cheap. They're $45,000, but compared to $10 million, put $10 million worth of solar trees into Pueblo City and see how Amazon, watch how Tesla, watch how Google, watch how these good, socially conscious, green companies come to Pueblo. And if they're not socially conscious and they're not fucking green, fuck those corporations. Like, we need more Walmarts, right? All we have is a bunch of low-skilled labor. We can't offer nothing else, Pueblo, and we could do Walmart ourselves. What does Walmart do? Just figure out where all the goods are coming from and then put it in a pile and then put it on shelves so it looks nice so people can be like, I want to pick this. No, I want to pick that, right? Because you can't just make those decisions at home. So with Ed Brown, he wasn't the progressive. You didn't choose the progressive Pueblo City. You chose the establishment. You chose a conservative. You chose a neoliberal corporatist. You picked your buddy over policy, and you fucked your city. Some of the things, it was brazen, some of the shit that Ed Brown said. He said that most of the $4 million that Pueblo gets from the Highway User Trust Fund goes to finance the salaries of the Public Works Department. Oh, wonderful. Okay, so we don't have any money for the roads, but we got all the money in the world for personnel. Does that make any fucking sense? What? We got to pay the personnel's health care costs? If there's no capital, they're not building any streets. What the hell is Public Works even doing? They're not building the streets, but they're, getting health care, right? So I guess that's wonderful. We all need some fucking health care, but let's just make sure the few 1,000 people or so that work for the city get it. So that's just insanity. $4 million, all of it goes to personnel. Okay, no fucking issue there. But they got some money for the tax, the street repair tax. Let's see what they do. But seriously, Ed Brown will do nothing when it comes to police brutality, when it comes to corporatism, when it comes to the poverty. I did actually on Larry Atencio and Dennis Flores because I see those two gentlemen as being the leaders of the Democratic Party. So Ed Brown will choose the champion. He's the, kingmaker, but he won't be the king himself. So Dennis Flores, under a Dennis Flores establishment or under a Larry Atencio Democratic City Council, there will be no vision for Pueblo, not a marijuana Disney store, not a Silicon Valley where it's going to be a bunch of, technology and solar powered. We can make it Hollywood. We can make movies here. Solar City, Sunlight City, Technology City, Pueblo City, a central hub for the world's marijuana city. If you don't have Pueblo weed, then you're smoking dog shit. You smoking that Pueblo weed? Oh, then you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Capitalism could very much save us all if we all were being invested. Democratic City Council is anti-capitalism. We're only going to have 8 licenses. That's it. For retail marijuana, only 8 people get the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory golden ticket. Dennis Flores talked about a free market approach, and Ed Brown actually talked about decriminalizing everything like they did in Portugal. I'm for 1,000 licenses, or just get rid of all the licenses together. We can raise 16 plants per person per household. So let's do that, Pueblo. Let's just do that. Everybody can raise 16 plants already anyways. So they're anti-capitalism, they're anti-socialism, there is no overall vision. So Pueblo City could be a badass city for badass citizens. Non-badasses need not apply. We do need a market. Maybe Mark Aliff will say something or, figure something out. But I have no confidence that we'll get any solar trees. That homelessness, it will not be solved, right? For socialism for the rich, is there any chance of them backing away from Petco? Absolutely not. They're corporatists through and through. They are so fucking corporatist, it's not even funny. And that's what Mussolini and FDR both said is fascism. When the corporations and the government become one. That's fascism. What are the cops there for? They're defending capital. They're defending the banks. They're defending the property, not the people. The government and the, buildings, not the people. So there's no theory of government, no theory of education, no theory of reality, no overarching vision, no new ideas. The chieftain said, well, we have a hard time that he has no new ideas. But fuck it, who cares? He's safe. He'll vote the way we want him to vote. So no check on the Fourth Rogue Militia Branch. Probably won't get any Wi-Fi. He said he was in favor of it, but he has no willpower to do this. Trash incinerator. Maybe we'll get a trash incinerator. So no investigation of the police. He was all about 2B and infinite tax. No subpoenas, no check on the police. And Nettie is responsible for the strong mayor debacle. I mean, they're not even paying attention to the charter. Nobody's on the same page. And so essentially the status quo will be maintained. It'll be maintained. Dennis Flores was laissez-faire casino capitalist with marijuana. And he said, let the market decide. Okay, it's not enough. The prices are too fucking high. And the market has already decided that, you know, some people get, but a lot of people, anyways, 1,000 licenses. Citizens for Green Pueblo want at least 1,000 retail marijuana licenses. And a street repair tax, pro-mandatory trash. Dennis Flores, he had some, you know, they all have positive little, you know, pieces here and there. But they're not progressives. They don't wear progressive on their sleeve. They very much are conservative acting. Thing I'll mention is that this would be Ed Brown's second term. This would be his second 4-year term. So what I want to tell all the people in the establishment, once you've gone the maximum amount, once you have, you know, done the 2 terms, don't keep on the same position. You should have elevated somebody by now. So Bob Schilling, his political acumen is, you know, he's fucking the progressive right now. Bob Schilling is the progressive of Pueblo City. How do you like that, Pueblo City? Look at Bob Schilling. You're looking at yourself. At least the 18% of the Democratic establishment who voted for the Bob Schillings and the Ed Browns and the Dennis Flores and the Atencios. So that's your progressives. That's your progressives. There are no progressives. He should have elevated somebody, though. Bob Schilling should have elevated somebody and then gone to be a state rep instead of just essentially special relativity is based upon these 2 postulates. The laws of physics are invariant, i.e. identical, in all inertial systems. And inertial systems is non-accelerating frames of reference. 2, the speed of light in a vacuum is the same for all observers regardless of the motion of the light source. So Albert Einstein's special relativity, also known as restricted relativity, comes down to 2 postulates. 1, the laws of physics are invariant, i.e. identical, in all inertial, stupid word, systems. Non-accelerating frames of reference. And 2, the speed of light in a vacuum is the same for all observers regardless of the motion of the light source. Regardless of the motion of the light source. Fluid dynamics, Bernoulli's principle states that an increase in the speed of a fluid occurs simultaneously with a decrease in pressure or a decrease in the fluid's potential energy. The principle is named after Daniel Bernoulli in 1738, so it was a while ago. The simple form of Bernoulli's equation is valid for incompressible flows, e.g. most liquid flows and gases moving at a low Mach number. More advanced forms may be applied to compressible flows at higher Mach numbers. See the derivations of the Bernoulli equation. Bernoulli's principle can be derived from the principle of the conservation of energy. Also, mass, energy, mass, it's all the same shit, right? E equals mc squared. So this requires that the sum of the kinetic energy and the potential. Principle of the conservation of energy states that in a steady flow, the sum of all forms of energy in a fluid along a streamline is the same at all points on that streamline. This requires that the sum of kinetic energy, potential energy, and internal energy remains constant. Thus, an increase in the speed of the fluid implying an increase in both its dynamic pressure and kinetic energy occurs with a simultaneous decrease in the sum of its static pressure, potential energy, and internal energy. If the fluid is flowing out of a reservoir, the sum of all forms of energy is the same on all streamlines because in a reservoir, the energy per unit volume, the sum of pressure and gravitational potential, PGH, is the same everywhere. Bernoulli's principle can also be derived directly from Isaac Newton's second law of motion. If a small